This is Hope Klein, and today I will be recording my first rebuttal, so let's get right into it. My opponent starts her negative by saying we should not go to the moon because of the amount of money it will cost. It will cost too much money, she says. She says America is in a financial crisis. Now, just to review, the reason why we want to go and develop the moon and harvest it for energy is so that we can decrease global warming and climate change here on Earth. We want to develop the moon and harvest its energy so that we can benefit our planet and nature. So, with that being said, we should not be basing the welfare of our planet and even ourselves. We as humans are a part of nature. We can't be thinking of it's the environment and it's humans. Humans are a part of the environment. We need the environment to survive. We thrive off our own planet. So we can't be putting a dollar amount on the cleanliness of our air and the energy that we use. We need to take care of it. Just because it's expensive doesn't mean that we shouldn't be doing it. That's not what's important. What's important is that we are using a clean energy source. America's financial crisis is not more important than decreasing global warming. EcoIQ highlights the fact that EcoIQ.com highlights the fact that we can't think of ourselves as not a part of nature. We are a part of nature, and if we want to take care of ourselves, we're going to have to be taking care of our environment. Even though if we save money right now by using cheap energy sources like fossil fuels, excuse me, we're going to have to be paying so much more money in the long run when we're going to have to try and find a way to rebuild our planet from the damage that global warming will do, and when we have to pay off medical bills from when climate change and unclean air hurts our citizens and our humans. So in the long run, we won't be saving money. Maybe right now we'll save money by using this unclean energy, but in the long run, we won't be. She says that we're so in debt. We are $18 trillion in debt, which is totally true. But going to the moon costs $25.4 billion to $129 billion, according to Quora.com. $25.4 billion is only 0.001 of 18 trillion. It's only 0.14%. Even at the top end of the spectrum, $129 billion is only 0.7% of America's debt. It's not even 1%. So not going to the moon isn't going to save us any money to go towards our debt. It won't make a difference in our national debt. She says we shouldn't go to the moon because it will ultimately lead to political parties bashing it out. But political parties will be bashing it out no matter what, whether they're arguing about going to the moon or raising taxes. The welfare of our planet and humans and our well-being should not be sacrificed to be keeping political parties getting along, because they're not going to be getting along. It doesn't have so much to do with the moon, but we shouldn't sacrifice the well-being of the Earth for political parties. My opponent says that helium-3, the amount of helium-3 is so minuscule it won't even be beneficial for us. But ExtremeTech.com says that there is up to 5 million tons conveniently embedded in the moon's top surface layer, so it actually is abundant on the moon. She says that helium-3 fusion plants will be too expensive, about $5 billion, but once again, the price point should not be more important than our welfare. My opponent says that going to the moon with these helium-3 fusion plants we will need more research, more science, and more everything put into it. But is that necessarily a negative impact? I think that's actually awesome. To progress as a society, we need more research. We want more science. We want to put everything into it. We want to find ways to progress. There's no way that we're ever going to find something new and find better ways if we don't do that research and do that science. This is going to help us as a society become more advanced, which is something that we actually want. So my opponent definitely highlighted actually a good point of going to the moon. A good reason to go to the moon is that we're going to be doing more science and more research and learning new things in the process. My opponent says that we should continue using fossil fuels because they are readily available, easily stored and transported, and low cost. But it's not worth it to have something that is easily attainable if it's harming the Earth. If it's bad for us, what difference does it make that it's easy to attain and that it's cheap? We shouldn't be doing things just because they're cheap and they're easy if they're not good quality. It's quality over quantity in this argument. She says that although she agrees that climate change may be true, but we won't even have enough money to pay farmers because we're going to spend so much money on going to the moon. But there's an agricultural subsidy that the government has to pay to farmers and agriculture businesses, and there's a guaranteed price floor. So no matter what money we're putting towards the moon, they're still going to have to pay farmers. So that is definitely an invalid argument, because no matter what, the farmers are going to be getting paid. She says that my argument about climate change encouraging disease-bearing insects is a slippery slope fallacy. She says there is no source, but my source was actually stated. It was wonderground.com. And like I said, deaths attributable to heat waves are expected to be 5 times as great because of climate change. It's going to be hotter, so the deaths from heat waves, that was the link. It will encourage the migration of disease-bearing insects like mosquitoes, which will bring malaria, because these disease-bearing insects thrive in heat. So that was where the disease-bearing insects that will kill people came into play because of the heat and because of climate change. Thank you.